Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA and UFC news, Islam Makhachev, Khabib, and other members of his team have been taunting Charles Oliveira, saying that he won't show up to Abu Dhabi. Charles has since put these rumors to bed with this recent Instagram post. Calm down, dad is coming. Hello Abu Dhabi. Then he followed this with another picture. Take off UFC 280. In a recent interview, Stephen Thompson says he believes he has one more run at the title before he retires. Here's the clip.
Yeah, man. I mean, I always want to get the title. Like, that's always number one. But it is kind of fun to have, especially at this, where I'm at in my career, to have some of these fun fights, and not just anybody or somebody that's people think that are washed up, but these guys are still working their way up to fight for the title. Pereira is working his way up. Kevin Holland just moved from 185. He was on a crazy streak there, and he moved to 170. He's doing work in the 170 division. So, I mean, the title's always there, man. That's what I always see in my head is the title. But it's fun to get these fun fights from time to time. My last two fights have been grapplers, and it gives me time to still work on that grappling skills. I came in the MMA game fairly late in my kickboxing or full contact career, and still learning stuff every day. Like I got two guys in this week. My man Joe's one of the top grapplers in the country, and a Penn State wrestler, Gino, who's moving to MMA as well. So wrestled with Bo Nickel and those guys. So he's there. These guys are definitely helping me out. I'm going to be going up to see Chris Weidman here in a bit, who only lives about an hour and a half away from me. Going to get some work in with him. He's looking good. He's healing up. So just trying to catch up on that. A lot of these guys have started out wrestling. Since they were 3, kind of like myself with karate. So I've got to play that catch-up game and do the best I can where I'm at.
It's recently been announced that Paul Craig will face off against Johnny Walker at UFC 283 in January. What do you guys think about this matchup? Will Craig be a problem for Walker? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Brendan Schaub believes that Tim Sylvia would have beaten both Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane in his prime. Here's what Schaub had to say. To me, Tim Sylvia has to be one of the scariest guys to ever compete in the UFC. 6'7", good footwork. Even Tim Sylvia now, if you think about the champion of the UFC now in Francis, or you think about Cyril Gane, I would put prime Tim Sylvia against any of them. Ridiculous wrestling, couldn't take him down. He's a monster. I was watching his highlights the other day like a weirdo, and I was like, this guy in his prime could compete right now. You look at the champs now, man, Tim Sylvia could give Francis and Cyril Gane some problems. He was a savage. In a recent episode of the Weighing In podcast, Big John and Josh Thompson had this to say about featherweight fighters moving up to the lightweight division. Here's the clip.
The 4, I'll go with your Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway, and Volkanovski. Look at Volkanovski could definitely move up to light heavyweight. There's no doubt in my mind that he would do well
light
there.
Heavyweight. Wow.
Excuse me, lightweight. Yeah,
wow.
Very good.
Skipping a couple weight classes,
Good
buddy.
point right there. I just overextended his abilities. But I did see him working out with the middleweight champion. But no, if you're looking at it, could he go to lightweight? Sure. I think Max Holloway could go to lightweight too. But we've seen there's a little bit of a difference between him at featherweight and lightweight. Yair Rodriguez, same thing. Brian Ortega, same thing. All of these guys, if you're looking at them, the only guy that doesn't truly have the frame for lightweight is Volkanovski. He is shorter in stature, less reach. He's one of those guys, when you're looking at him, you're going, you're going to be giving up a lot to these guys in the lightweight division because they're longer, taller, bigger guys with bigger frames. Well, Holloway, Rodriguez, and Ortega all match up very well in that. They could all move up there. So I could see them all moving up. Do I think that they could be champion? Look, on any given day, it's so hard to explain how small the percentages are between one great fighter compared to the next great fighter in what happens in the fight. And it can be a lot of things. It can be things that are happening that day in their life. It can be, just whatever. Those are the things that change the outcome of the fight. The fight goes their way in a certain way. They land one shot, changes the entire outcome of the fight. So any of those guys are good enough to be champ. Yes, on that right day. Do I see them going up there and taking over in the lightweights? No, they're going to have a hard time. That's why we have weight classes. You're meant for certain areas and you'll fit into those areas. if there was one that I could say I could see him causing problems in there, it would be Volkanovski.
What do you think? Could Volkanovski really compete with the top 5 lightweights? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. Juliana Pena has recently demanded a trilogy fight with Amanda Nunes. In a recent post to social media, she said, "Everyone keeps asking me what's next. I'm getting my belt back, that's what's next. A trilogy with Amanda Nunes is the fight to make. I did everything I said I was going to do going into that first fight. I gave Amanda the immediate rematch with 6 months, and man, maybe I should have sat out for 2 years like she does. She told everyone she could have finished me in round 2, but I guess she wanted to get her face rearranged for 3 more rounds and leave on a walking stick instead. She even said we headbutted and you guys believed it. Never happened. She had to go home and change and revamp her entire style to beat me. I take it as a compliment. She outsmarted me the second time, I give her that. We are 1-1, and this time I will not miss." Chael Sonnen believes that UFC 280 is too stacked and that one of the fights will fall through. Here's what Chael had to say.
Is UFC 280 too stacked? Is it too stacked? Now, we're not going to get that card. I don't know who the skunk at the garden party is going to be, but we've never had a card like this that has held up. I mean, take a look at this card. Think about how stacked this is. Lahal Muhammad has been nothing but a main event for a period of time. He stopped Leon Edwards' win streak. He is headlining shows. He takes on Vincent Luque, who apparently was good enough to fight for a world championship because they brought him into Madison Square Garden and had him weigh in. Lahal's on the undercard. Now that speaks to the respect and the talent that is going to be on UFC 280 before it gets split up. And that phone call's got to be coming at any point. I mean, I might be the one that's going to hold Duplessis until together. I might be, but I can't control the 10 chickens that are on the main card over there. One of those chickens is going to squawk. Trust me.
What do you think about Chael's opinion on the card? Will someone end up pulling out of UFC 280? Let us know in the comment section below. Jon Jones recently gave Alex Pereira advice ahead of his fight with Israel Adesanya. Here's what Adesanya had to say about it.
Jon Jones told Alex Pereira not to put any of his training up.
Not to?
Not to, yeah.
Oh, really?
So you couldn't see or anything like that.
Interesting. I wonder why he'd say that. Even so, Eugene has watched. She's told me some stuff maybe a couple years ago about Jon that he learned from watching his trainer's interview. And I was like, interesting. Eugene watches everything.
Yeah.
He hates it, but he loves the game, so he watches everything to get an advantage. I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Paul Felder and Brett Okamoto talk about the lightweight title fight between Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev.
I think there's 2 things, right? That everybody is thinking, okay, Makhachev's wrestling, Charles' work on the ground, his jiu-jitsu. But what we're forgetting is they got to start on the feet. And Makhachev has shown some improvements in that stand-up area. He's shown a lot of power, but Charles, his kickboxing, has looked unbelievable as of late. His durability on the feet has looked unreal. They're going to end up on the ground, 100%. But I think those exchanges, especially if it goes into the later rounds, who's winning those striking battles? Who's landing elbows, knees, kicks? I think that is really where we're going to decide the winner. And then ultimately, it's going to end on the ground.
Interesting. Do you think, because I get this feeling we're seeing a very aggressive Charles Oliveira, and part of the reason we see that, and we say it every time he fights, is like, he doesn't care if he gets taken down.
And this
Do you
one's
think
a little.
He cares if he gets taken down in this fight?
I don't think it's so much that he cares, but he's got to be careful at least of it. He's got to be a little bit more reserved because Makhachev's he can smother you. He can drown you out there with his pressure, right? He's so strong. And I think he's going to do a good job of avoiding a lot of the submissions, but Charles is just nonstop with that kind of stuff. When he's on the ground, he's rolling constantly. I've been in there with the guy. He's on your leg. He's looking for a heel. He's doing calf slicers. He's got your arm. He constantly keeps you uneasy, but I don't think he wants to spend the whole fight doing that.
Guys, thanks so much for checking out the video. If you like the content we do here on this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to MMA Library for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.